Our area's most beautiful properties deserve the finest realtors. Meeks Realty Group. We focus on buying and selling residential and commercial properties throughout the tri-state area. Contact Meeks Realty Group online at meeks.us or call 304-440-1101.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
Hey, looks good Wednesday morning to you. Welcome to the month of November. It is time for the Dave Allen Show from the Par-Mar Store Studio, brought to you by the Thornhill Auto Group, the voice of Charleston. WCHS, Ryan Nicholson is our producer today. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Texas, courtesy of Fruth, and that is 304-935-5008. We do the show from the Par-Mar Store Studios. If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon. Par-Mar, the official store of high school sports in West Virginia and the official convenience store of Marshall University. And the show brought to you by the Thornhill Auto Group, including Thornhill Toyota. Come check out the new Camry, Corolla, RAV4, and more. They're not just selling cars. They're creating unforgettable adventures. Click or come by Thornhill Toyota, WV.com, or on the Thornhill Motor Mile US 119 in Chapmanville. Coming up a little bit later on in the show, we're going to be joined by Ashley Offer-Glantz, who is the executive director of the Putnam County Chamber of Commerce. They got a big event going on tomorrow at Area 34. And if you don't know exactly what Area 34 is, I'm going to explain that whole concept to you coming up a little bit later on in the show. Plus, as always, your calls and texts are welcome. Several things in the news I want to get to. The situation with WVU. Rob Alsop is now out, turned in his resignation, and I'm going to talk about that and several other things I want to get to. But I want to welcome to the show now Huntington Mayor candidate for Governor Steve Williams. Mr. Mayor, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on, Dave. Really appreciate you giving me some time to talk.
Absolutely. First, I got to ask the obligatory, how was your trick-or-treating last night?
My wife and I take our chairs out to the front, and there wasn't nearly as many people last night as there has been in the last few years, but it's a blast. And particularly what's fun is when the families actually dress up, the parents dress up, and one dad came as the Great Pumpkin, and it was precious. The entire evening is so fun.
It is. And, of course, it is, like I said, in my neighborhood, I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on, Mayor, if I get time. The numbers were down, and, they said it was too cold and whatever. I mean, I just don't get that. I mean, it's Halloween. It's supposed to be cold, but that's beside the point.
What I think the reason was that it's always been in recent years. It's been a bit of a controversy in Huntington and Cabell County. What day is trick or treat going to be on? And everybody's wanting it on the 31st. Well, we had it on the weekend, and we had it on a Friday night in past years, in the most recent years, and daggone people were out. But last night was fun.
Yeah, it was indeed. Mayor, I want to give you a chance, before we get into your campaign, I want to give you a chance to talk about your city for a moment. And I will tell you, I know that there is probably, it's up for debate, I guess, there's probably no mayor in the state that loves their city more than Steve Williams does Huntington. Talk about your love for that city.
It starts all the way back when I moved to Huntington from Little Athens, West Virginia, when I was 16 years old. My dad was a coach down at Concord, and when he quit coaching, went on to VPI to work on his doctorate. He was offered a job at Marshall, and we moved to Huntington when I was 16, and this town just reached out and just embraced my family. And certainly it helped during the years that I was playing football at Marshall, and there has just been a romance that's developed within the city, and I'm so proud of how folks are. There's a high level of compassion. There is unbelievable talent and interest to be able to make the city much better. And There was a time that Huntington was always known for fighting among themselves on whatever issues were coming out. Arch Moore used to say, you go to Huntington and you hand out $20 bills on the street corner, and they'll argue about which street corner you should be on. And when I became mayor, I was a little bit worried that will people be able to come together to be able to pursue the vision that I had for a transformation of life within the city, and folks embraced it. And I have to say, I am proud as can be of our community. We have well documented all sorts of problems, but there's a point where you just have to just name it and own it, and quit being a victim about it. Just work on getting it fixed, and that's the way folks. Really, I think it's not just Huntington. I think that's the way folks in West Virginia are, and it could be our Appalachian culture, but the reality is we have big hearts. We believe in holding folks accountable, but we will give the shirt right off our back, and that's why I'm so proud of Huntington. Frankly, I can't run for mayor again, so I'm thinking this is an opportunity for me to take statewide what we've been working on and allow communities to be able to frame their own future.
Talking again with Huntington Mayor and candidate for governor Steve Williams here on the Dave Allen Show. Okay, Mayor, I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the governor's race here for a moment. Sure. I'm going to go ahead and state the obvious here. West Virginia is a red state. A hard red state, and it's getting redder. It seems by the year. That's going to be difficult to overcome. I'm sure you thought about that.
Oh well, I know it's an uphill climb, but it's a climb worth taking because I believe if there's going to be a segment of the population that see that I have a D after my name, and they're just not going to look any further. But there's a significant number of independents, and I do think that there are a significant number of Republicans who will give me a look-see, so to speak, and given an opportunity, and they listen to what I'm saying, then we have a good conversation going, and I think I stand a better than odds chance. But the reality is that every race that I have run in, and this will be my 11th race, every campaign that I've run in, I've run as a D. But I have never, ever said to anybody, vote for me because I'm a Democrat. Vote for me because of my ideas. Vote for me as to how I'm able to communicate with you and identify ways that we can work together to be able to move our community forward. And I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change tactics now. It's been successful for me. I'm more of a mainstream candidate, and I think the message that I have to deliver, if people will listen, they'll say, well, this guy's worth taking a look at.
Attorney General Patrick Morrissey, Secretary of State Mac Warner, Delegate Mark Capito, auto dealer Chris Miller, people I'm sure that you all know very well. What makes Steve Williams the better candidate?
I've done what my responsibility the last 12 years as mayor. I've had to deal with paving. I've had to deal with infrastructure. I've had to deal with law enforcement. I've had to deal with the directly actually fighting the opioid epidemic. I've had to negotiate contracts with my employees and I've had to fix pensions. I've had financial problems on the verge of bankruptcy and been able to eliminate taxes and increase our revenue. As one person said to me, Steve, you will not have to have on the job training. You can step in day one and be sitting in an environment that you've been operating in 12 years. That's the difference. I mean, frankly, all four of those that you've spoken, who you've mentioned. I've worked with all of them. They're fine. They're fine gentlemen, and the only difference is that I've done this day in and day out for nearly 12 years. They've done some things, but they have never done all of the breadth of everything that I've had to be involved with. And I think, given that posture, I know how to start from the very first day.
What are some of the ideas, if elected mayor, that you would like to put into place as governor? What are some of the things that you are willing to step up and fight for and say, hey, this is an idea that I could really get behind? Just give us a couple of those.
Everything that we must be doing has to be geared towards wealth accumulation, developing prosperity within the state, creating jobs. My background, all the way back to the early 80s, I was working in developing economic development programs. Now, the thing is, there's some things that are working extremely well in West Virginia right now. The thing is, we got to kick it up several notches. It's not enough to say, well, we're not 48th or 49th or 50th anymore. We're in the top 30s. No, we need to be a top 10% state. And if we're going to be doing that, we have to be more aggressive than any state around. What I am known for saying is, let's set standards that the rest of the nation will be seeking to follow. So everything is going to be driven towards job development. Well, we have problems within higher education. We have problems within our public education system. The reality is that in recent years in higher education, we've had a situation where it has been the privatization of our public colleges, because the way they have been funding their operations has been increasing tuitions, and we've seen the level of participation, the enrollments and dropping in our colleges and universities. We have to address that. But also, I think that there are some things that we have to leave for local governments, city and county governments, to be able to have a robust conversation as to what works in their area. Everything doesn't have to be controlled by the legislature. Mm-hmm. When I was in the legislature, there was a tendency to try to say, well, we'll do things. And then now that the Republicans have come in and have taken over the first time in 80 years, well, they had fallen into the same trap where now they're making all of the decisions. Frankly, we have brilliant people in our communities. We have talent hiding in plain sight, and we need to encourage communities to be able to utilize those resources that they have. And lastly, we have more resources than we have ever had in the history of the state to be able to build infrastructure throughout the state. It is an absolute crime that we have areas of the state that don't even have running water. I mean, my goodness, those are third world countries, and we here in the wealthiest nation in the world, and we have areas that don't have running water. We have to fix things like that. We have to have broadband all across the state. We have to have roads that are actually opening up areas of the state. We've done that quite well in some areas, but there are areas down in southwestern Virginia that don't have ready access in and out. So all of these things point to one thing: creating jobs. We create jobs. A job that's created starts to solve an awful lot of problems that we have. And everything that we do has got to be in that direction. And lastly, and just as importantly, we need to get out of the business of running people's lives. There's some things that is not absolutely not business of the legislature to come in and make decisions as to who I'm going to love, how I'm going to handle my health care, and how I'm going to be able to make decisions for my family. We are known in this state, mountaineers are always free. Well, then we need to let folks be able to make their own decisions for their own lives.
Mayor, I got one final thing for you before I let you go. All politics now seems to be national. If you're a Republican, you're tied to Donald Trump. If you're a Democrat, you find yourself answering. I know I have the state Democratic Party chair, Mike Pushkin, on the show, and it's constantly he's having to answer questions about Joe Biden or AOC or whatever. What is your plan to, if you are going to do this when you're out on the trail, you're at a forum or whatever, to say, hey, I'm my own guy. I'm not part of that, or are you part of that?
The National Democratic Party has failed West Virginia. I mean, that's why. I mean, frankly, I believe in the markets, and I think markets are quite efficient. In that regard, that's why we see that West Virginia has become as red as it has, because people look and they are wondering, well, what are Democrats doing for us? The reality is we do have resources now to be able to fix things, but the fact of the matter is there are some folks in the Democratic Party that would never ever want to have lunch with me, and for that matter, if they were, they would expect me to pay for it. You know? and that's just not who I am. I am a mainstream Democrat. I like to say that I am a West Virginia Democrat, more of a Kennedy Democrat than John Kennedy Democrat, not Ted Kennedy Democrat. Reality is, I think where we find ourselves is that after a while, people will start to realize, you know, this fella stands on his own. I've had some people say, well, as we said, am I a Kennedy Democrat? Am I a Manchin Democrat? So no, actually, I'm a Steve Williams Democrat. What you see is what you get.
Good place to leave it, Mayor and candidate for governor Steve Williams. I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to be here.
Thanks for letting me to be with you.
We'll be talking again soon. Thanks a lot, Mayor. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
9:24. Dave Allen Show is brought to you part by Meeks Realty Group, where trust and efficiency are the cornerstones of their service. Meeks offers years of experience in both residential and commercial real estate with results that will exceed your expectations. At Meeks, it's about more than the agreement. Your real estate transaction is part of your dreams and goals. When you go with Meeks, you're not just getting real estate expertise, you're getting a partner you can rely on for a lifetime of successful investments. Call 304-401-1101 or visit Meeks.us. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Ashley Offer-Glantz from the Putnam County Chamber of Commerce is here from the Parmar Store Studio. It's the Dave Allen Show, brought to you by Thornhill Auto Group on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses want to thank you for supporting local small businesses.
Expecting a new addition to the family? Pew Furniture has everything you will need. We have a large selection of crib groups in multiple finishes. We offer several models of crib mattresses and bassinets as well. Add a cozy rocking chair and you will have a warm, welcoming room. We understand that comfort is essential at every stage of life. This is why we offer a wide range of lift chairs in many different sizes, colors, and options. These chairs are game changers. Whether you're looking for convenience or need due to medical necessity, these chairs will give you independence. When it comes to a good night's sleep, you deserve the best, and our Almost Heaven mattresses deliver. At Pew Furniture, we're not just a store. We've been part of the community since 1917. We take pride in helping you make your house a true home with 3 floors of showroom space. So why wait? Come visit us at 1320 Smith Street, Charleston, or at buypew.com. Pew Furniture Warehouse Showrooms, where it's better quality furniture at prices you want to pay. Open Monday through Saturday, 9:30 to 5.
It's not every day you purchase a vehicle, but one person who does, Larry Dawson. Larry Dawson Auto Sales in Nitro. I'm Randy Dameron with a message regarding honesty, integrity, and the willingness to save you money when it's time for you to purchase a slightly used vehicle. I've known Larry as a friend for years, and you too can have a friend in the car business. Click or come in today and meet Larry. Larry Dawson Auto Sales, Nitro.
Are you ready Need to make every adventure awesome? Look no further than the new Thornhill Toyota. Introducing the 2023 Toyota Camry, Corolla, and RAV4. The ultimate companions for your journey. Whether it's the sleek Camry or the adventurous RAV4, we've got the perfect ride for you. And don't forget our unbeatable selection. We've got a ride for every style and budget. At the new Thornhill Toyota, we're not just selling cars, we're creating unforgettable adventures. So why wait? Visit us today and let's make every adventure awesome together. Click or come by at ThornhillToyotaWV.com or on the Thornhill Motor Mile, US 119 Chapmanville. See Thornhill for full details.
927 phone calls to the Dave Allen Show, service of Biggly Piggly Wiggly. When shopping at your Biggly Piggly Wiggly, be sure to join their loyalty program. You can save big at the gas pumps and throughout the store with their electronic coupons and free gifts on Fridays just for stopping by from farm to table. Biggly Piggly Wiggly, the best kept secret in Charleston. Texting services provided by Fruth Pharmacy, your hometown family pharmacy. I'm going to get back to Steve Williams a little bit later on. I've had a few texts to the show about his interview today. I want to get into that a little bit later on. Right now, I want to talk to our good friend Ashley Alford-Glance from the Putnam County Chamber of Commerce. Good morning, Miss Alford-Glance. How are you?
Good morning, my friend Dave. How are you doing?
I am doing fine. You got an event going on there tomorrow at Area 34. You're going to be teaming up with the Small Business Administration for an event. Talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So tomorrow we're hosting an event called Show Me the Money, and it's in partnership with the West Virginia Small Business Development Center. And then we're also going to have some Q&A by Carol Jackson, who is a loan officer of the First Microloan of West Virginia. And so tomorrow, what we're going to be doing is hosting a quick seminar on how it's geared at small business owners, anybody that already owns a business or wants to start a small business. And we're going to be talking about building a business plan. We're also going to be talking about startup pre-planning, business financing, and anything that any questions that you really have about starting a business here in West Virginia and specifically in Putnam County. We're going to be on hand and able to answer those questions and hope that we can help some small businesses.
And according to what I saw on social media, my favorite phrase in the English language, breakfast is provided.
That is correct. Breakfast is provided. So we'll have a light breakfast there, and then we'll have the seminar, and then again, Carol Jackson from the First Microloan will be there for a Q&A. And really, we just want to make sure that people have all the information they need when they're looking. They may have an idea for a new business, but don't know what's next. So, the first thing that we can do is help them with a business plan or look for access to funding, or just really any questions that they may have. And if we don't answer the questions tomorrow, then we can answer them later. We might need to make some other connections to some other organizations that help small businesses in addition to us in the SBDC.
Let's talk about the role. You're somebody that's very involved in not only the Putnam Chamber as the executive director, but also involved with business on a statewide level. How important are small businesses, in your opinion, to not only Putnam County, but the state of West Virginia and the entire country for that matter?
Oh, absolutely. Small businesses, they make up a majority of the businesses in Putnam County. And, to have, a proper ecosystem in your community, you need to have both small businesses and large businesses, and that's what makes a community great to live in. And so in Putnam County, we're really fortunate to have, our small businesses that make up the majority, and then our great support by our larger, more national and global businesses as well.
And for those who don't know, Area 34 is just off the Taze Valley exit. If you're coming from Charleston, it's you take a right. It's next to the Exxon of the Arby's, directly across from Liberty Square. That's the home to not only the Chamber, but also the Putnam County Convention Visitors Bureau. The best coffee shop in the area, in my opinion. Connie and the folks at Putnam Provisions, Solid Waste Authorities in the area, the Development Authority. So it's kind of a one-stop shop for Putnam County, and I will give you an opportunity to sell that a bit of a free commercial, because you got meeting spaces and work pods available. Talk about that.
Absolutely. So we at Area 34 really pride ourselves on being a hub for our community, no matter what your needs are. So whether it's a place to just come and meet a friend for coffee or to have a business meeting, we have a coffee shop that's open to the public, Putnam Provisions, from every day. And so anybody can come on in and grab a cup of coffee, a locally roasted coffee as well. And then we have conference rooms, we have meeting spaces, and we also run a co-working space. So if you are looking for flexible or temporary space for your business, you can get started at Area 34 and have access to all the amenities of the building. And then we also have Area 34 mobile. So if you need to interface with your clients on the go, give us a call to talk about Area 34 Mobile. It is the area's only, or the state's only, mobile co-working space.
And also understand that we got yet another new business coming into Putnam County. In fact, it's already there. It's called Walked. It's in Mid-Valley Square. Had lunch there a couple of weeks ago. Very delicious lunch. It's across from the reservoir there in Hurricane. As I said, it's been open for at least a couple of weeks. There's going to be a ribbon cutting held there tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Love seeing those new businesses come into the area, Ashley.
Oh, absolutely. We really enjoy. That's one of the most favorite parts of the job is cutting those ribbons with the big scissors. And so tomorrow we're going to be celebrating Walked, and we've been very, very fortunate here in Putnam County to, there has been very few weeks that have gone by that we haven't celebrated a new business in Putnam County. And so I hope that everyone will join us in celebrating Walked tomorrow, and we've got a few more scheduled for the rest of the year. And, it's really important as we get into the holiday season and you're thinking about gift buying, to make sure to show some love to some of our small and locally owned businesses when you're thinking about gifts for your loved ones this holiday season.
And I also understand that downtown Hurricane is going to be getting a Italian/steakhouse. So we're looking forward to. I'm always looking forward to that. Before we let you go, Nucor. Everybody's talking about Nucor coming to Mason County and what it's already meant. And I know in Putnam County we've already seen several of their feet print, for lack of a better term, that they've had in Putnam County. Talk about that.
Yeah, the state of West Virginia is so fortunate to have Nucor join us here in our state, and I think that all the state is going to benefit from them, and as well as the counties surrounding Mason County. And so we're so fortunate. They're such a wonderful company, and they go above and beyond to support their community. And so in Putnam County we are seeing a lot of new residents due to relocating from other mills. And so we're always happy to meet our new families that join us in Putnam County and figure out how we can make Putnam County feel like their new home.
All right, before we let you go, let's get back to the event tomorrow. And I erred earlier when I said Small Business Administration. I meant to say the SBDC, but they kind of work hand in hand. So talk about the event tomorrow at Area 34.
Yeah, so tomorrow we've got Show Me the Money, and it is an information session for small business owners. We are going to be learning about business plans. We're going to be learning about small business financing, and we're also going to be able to answer any questions that you have about opening a new small business in West Virginia or in Putnam County specifically. It starts at 8:30 a.m. Breakfast is provided, and we're also going to have a Q&A that will be led by Carol Jackson from the First Microloan of West Virginia. So I hope people will join us and we'll be able to answer some questions and get some new businesses started.
And information, I presume, is available on the Putnam County Chamber of Commerce websites and social media. All right. Ashley, always a pleasure.
PutnamChamber.org events.
All right, Ashley, we will talk soon, and I'll see you there for that, definitely for that ribbon cutting tomorrow. So looking forward to it.
See you tomorrow.
All right,
thanks for having me. Tell my friends. I didn't get to tell my friend Steve, but Mayor Williams actually has a long history and is a good friend of Putnam County. So I was honored to be on the show right behind him today.
All right. Well, I'm sure his folks are listening. They got the message. Ashley, I appreciate you. We'll talk again soon. Thanks a lot.
Talk soon. Bye-bye.
25 minutes away from Tim, the Dave Allen Show, brought to you in part by General Hardware and Lumber of Winfield. Get with them for a quote before you start your project. If you're tired of sorting through a bunch of crooked boards, get with General Hardware and Lumber. They have the straight quality lumber you're looking for with great pricing and the service that you expect from a locally owned business, General Hardware and Lumber of Winfield. I got some text to get to, several news items I want to get to as well. I do want to throw this in there. On Monday's show, I had the mayor of Montgomery, Mr. Greg Ingram, on the show on Mayor Monday, and he announced, well, he actually had already announced it, but he added, I guess, that in addition to mayor of Montgomery, he was also going to be running for the West Virginia House of Delegates. And so I kind of thought this was right, but I didn't know for sure. I wanted to verify this with Mr. Ingram and the voter registration folks. Somebody had texted the show yesterday and asked what his party was. Greg Ingram is indeed a Republican, and so he's going to be running for West Virginia House of Delegates. I think the district was 52. I think that's what it is. And he's based in Montgomery. But again, he was on the show on Monday on the Mayor Monday segment talking about the great things going on in Montgomery. And then somebody, he announced a couple of weeks ago that he'd signed his papers, pre-candidacy papers, if you will, to run for the House of Delegates. And somebody texted the show yesterday, wanted to know about his political party. Greg Ingram is indeed a Republican. We're going to take a break. We're back after this from the Parmar Store Studios, the Dave Allen Show, brought to you by the Thornhill Auto Group and the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Are you looking for a technical job in the medical field? Generations is growing and looking to add on job-trained physical therapy techs to our rehab team. To apply, visit one of our 7 convenient locations or simply click on us at generationspt.com.
People sometimes may wonder why they need a big law firm after their injury. Imagine you're on your way to work and then, bam, your whole life changes. Life can be shattered in a moment. When that happens, know that America's largest injury law firm is here for you. When it comes to law, size matters. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Office 222 Capitol Street, Charleston. Cases will be handled by West Virginia licensed attorneys. The attorney in this ad is not licensed in West Virginia.
Are you ready to make every adventure awesome? Look no further than the new Thornhill Toyota. Introducing the 2023 Toyota Camry, Corolla, and RAV4. The ultimate companions for your journey. Whether it's the sleek Camry or the adventurous RAV4, we've got the perfect ride for you. And don't forget our unbeatable selection. We've got a ride for every style and budget. At the new Thornhill Toyota, we're not just selling cars, we're creating unforgettable adventures. So why wait? Visit us today and let's make every adventure awesome together. Click or come by at ThornhillToyotaWV.com or on the Thornhill Motor Mile, US 119 Chapmanville. See Thornhill for full details.
Having issues with your home like wet basements, water in your crawl space, bowing or leaning walls, or foundation cracks? You need Foster Construction, your foundation repair experts. Locally owned and operated, Foster Construction offers free inspections and estimates and has a licensed professional engineer on staff. Their services include basement and crawl space waterproofing, foundation repair, and retaining walls. Call 304-776-6263 and get started today. Online at fosterconstructionwv.com. Foster Construction. They'll fix it right the first time.
Hey, high school football fans, if you want to see where your team ranks every week, check out the Thornhill Auto Group Power Rankings at WVMetroNews.com. Every Sunday evening, we will update the football Power Rankings. To find out where your favorite team ranks, go to WVMetroNews.com. Click on the High School Sports tab and then High School Football Power Rankings. The 2023 Metro News Power Rankings presented by Thornhill Auto Group. The road to total savings starts with Thornhill. Visit them on the Thornhill Motor Mile.
It is 21 minutes away from 10 from the Parmar Store Studio. It's the Dave Allen Show, brought to you by the Thornhill Auto Group. On the Voice, Charleston, WCHS. Bigley, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858, or you can text courtesy of Fruth. And you can, by the way, speaking of Fruth, we heard a lot about them. They're in the middle of their, actually, they're just kicking off, I should say, their anniversary celebration. So they're going to be having all kinds of specials. You'll be hearing all about it on the air and on all of our stations here. But anyway, they provide our text line, 304-935-5008. Tonight is the final one of these scheduled. It's these Here to Serve meetings sponsored by the city of Charleston. Now, the final one tonight, 6 o'clock at the Roosevelt Neighborhood Center, which is at 502 Ruffner Avenue. It's a chance for you to talk to representatives from the mayor's office, police, street departments. They're all going to be there, as they have been, and these meetings have been held all over the city. This is the final one that is scheduled, and the previous ones, from what I understand, have been very well attended, and this one should be too. Again, it starts at 6 tonight at the Roosevelt Neighborhood Center, 502 Ruffner Avenue in Charleston, and they call these things the Here to Serve meetings. Reps from the mayor's office, police, city, fire, everybody's going to be on hand. So if you got questions, you don't want to go to a city council meeting or whatever, and you just want to talk kind of in a one-on-one, a more informal type setting. There's obviously, some order and decorum there, but you can go talk to them. So get out there, and these things have been filled with complaints, with praise, a little bit of everything. That's the whole idea. Again, it starts at 6 tonight at the Roosevelt Neighborhood Center on Ruffner. Dave Allen Show, brought to you by Bridge Valley. Are you interested in improving your company's IT workforce? Well, did you know that Bridge Valley offers custom-tailored IT training to bridge the skills gap? At Bridge Valley, you can train for little or no cost with a 50-50 salary match. Bridge Valley can also supply skilled graduates and apprenticeships for your company. Visit bridgevalley.edu/apprenticeships for more information. Well, it's Wednesday, which means our sister station V100 will be out at the red carpet tonight for another Working Women's Wednesday. Jenny Murray from V100, DJ Matt Guitar Murphy, and others on hand starting after work around 5. Lots of great prizes, great music, food and drink specials, and more. V100's Working Women's Wednesday. We do it every Wednesday after work, starts around 5 at the Red Carpet Lounge in Charleston. And I do need to throw this out there, a little insider information here. One of our own here in the building is celebrating a monumental birthday today, and that is our morning guy on our sister station, KWS 96.1 Superstar Country. Rob Reel is celebrating the big 5-0 today. Welcome to your 50s, Rob, and I'm going to sit down with him later, and I'm going to explain to him everything that he has to look at now that he's in his 50s. But he's a great guy, one of my good friends, Rob Reel, so I want to say happy birthday to Rob, who's celebrating number 5-0 today. That's our morning guy on our sister station 96.1 KWS. All right, let me knock out. I got a bunch of texts to get to. Going back to Steve Williams, text says, wait, so he's a Democrat and his dad was at Virginia Tech? Not looking good for Williams, says a texter. A little tongue-in-cheek there. Text says, Mayor Steve Williams is undoubtedly the best candidate for governor. It's just a shame that West Virginia voters have blinders on and can only see party affiliation and will waste Mayor Williams' potential for barely mediocre candidates, according to a texter. You know, and if you heard the show on Monday, I guess it was, when I gave my advice, and I didn't get into whether, Mayor Williams actually heard my advice or not, on how he could. No, I'm not saying when, okay? I'm saying I kind of gave some advice on Monday's show on ways forward, if you will, for Steve Williams and ways he could do a little better in his race for governor. Of course, one of those that I mentioned earlier, Warner, Capito, Morrissey, or Miller is going to emerge. And, of course, you have another candidate, Rashida Yost. One of those is going to emerge to take on Steve Williams for the governorship next year. And I kind of gave some advice on Monday's show on ways I think he could move forward. And if you go back and listen to the show once it's posted online, he kind of answered that, because I had to ask the question, and that is, all politics is national. As you've heard me say time and time again, and I change the county every time for the example. If you're running for Wetzel County assessor, somebody's going to ask you, how do you feel about Joe Biden and how do you feel about Donald Trump? Because that's just kind of where it's sad, but that's just kind of where we are. And he said, Steve Williams, earlier in the show, he said some things that I think were very good coming out of him. And that is saying no, basically, as he said, to the National Democratic Party. He said, I am my own guy. And if he holds to that, I think it will bode well for him in the race. Now, is it going to be enough to propel him to the governorship when he does have that D after his name? And that's another thing, too, about Steve Williams that I kind of like, and talking to him on the interview this morning. And that was, he said, I am what I am. He said, I'm a West Virginia Democrat. And the problem is that the classic West Virginia Democrat and the National Democrat, or what is the National Democrat now, or at least the image thereof, aren't the same anymore. And so far, one interview. He's only done one interview with me, and I'm sure he's already done, and we'll do other interviews with other people. But it's going to be, as the old timers would say, a tough row to hoe in West Virginia. But if he keeps on like he did on the interview this morning, I think he did a good job. And I think that's the thing that he probably needs to continue to say. Dave Allen Show is brought to you in part by Hudson's Pizza. This month, it's your favorite Hudson's. Get a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and 10 cheese sticks, only $21.99. Visit Hudson'sPizza.com for details. More news out of Morgantown this morning. Mike Nolting with the story posted at WVMetroNews.com. WVU's Vice President for Strategic Initiatives, Rob Alsop, is leaving. Now, he'd been at that job for 6 years. He will work the job as vice president until November the 18th, and then he'll transition to a special advisor to WVU President Gordon Gee through the end of January. My guess is that's probably a contractual thing. Alsop has been one of the major players in all this shuffling going on up there. The Board of Governors back in September gave the final approval to eliminate 28 majors and to cut 143 faculty positions at West Virginia University. Now, in his time at WVU, he did a variety of things. He served as interim athletic director immediately after Shane Lyons left. And outside of WVU, he was also a big part of remember this, he was a big part of the gubernatorial administrations of then Governor Joe Manchin and then Governor Earl Ray Tomlin. And he actually served as chief of staff for Senator Cart Goodwin, who took that job following the death of Senator Robert Byrd. So there's no word yet on a replacement moving forward for Rob Alsop. I don't know exactly how that's going to look. To be honest with you. Text says, so your former boss is getting glad hands from crazy freak trader, insurrectionist, and Christian denominationist Mike Flynn. What kind of a thing to be proud of? What a silly boy Mac is, talking about Secretary of State Mac Warner and candidate for governor. Feels like he's playing out of his league and getting in over his head with America-hating criminals, according to a texter. I've put it out there several times. I did work for the West Virginia Secretary of State's office, and I worked for Mac Warner specifically for 4 years. And I consider Mac to be a very close personal friend. He was my boss, and he's not now. He's still my friend, but he's not my boss anymore, is what I'm trying to say. And you don't always agree with your boss. If you're listening to me right now and you're at work or whatever, you may say, my boss doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm not saying that about Mac Warner. I'm just saying that you don't always agree with your boss or what your friends do. So we'll kind of leave it at that. I mean, there's nothing more I can say, but he's doing what he thinks he needs to do in order to move forward in the race for governor. That's what he feels he needs to do. So, more power to it. Text says, is there any info out there about Sergio's? Sergio's is the new restaurant that's going to be coming to downtown Hurricane, the former Conley's Irish Pub location. The only thing I know about it is that obviously it's owned by someone named Sergio, and this is a gentleman that has several other businesses in the area, including Guadalajara, I think, in Nitro. I've eaten there. It's pretty good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm always looking forward to food, though. So that's just me. No, I don't have any other information other than I think they were going to try to be open by sometime over the next couple of weeks, I think. But I haven't been in downtown Hurricane in a few days. I live kind of on the other end of the valley, so I haven't been down there, so I haven't checked it out. But I'll be there. All right, I will definitely, when you had me at steak and pasta, so I will definitely be there. We are getting a new member of the House of Delegates. The governor yesterday naming Erica Moore to take over the seat that was held by Riley Keaton in District 15. That's an area based kind of out of Roane County. Keaton is taking a job with the Justice Administration. Now, Erica Moore works actually for the city of Spencer. And so she has been named to that position by the governor. She will take over for Riley Keaton, who, as I said, is taking a job within the Justice Administration. So congratulations to Erica Moore. She will fill out the term and then at some point decides if she wants to run for re-election to that, I suppose. Dave Allen Show brought to you in part by your local Brightways agent, John and Sherry Mays of Brightway, the Mays Agency in Tays Valley. Homeowners insurance can be complicated. Get the coverage you need locally with John and Sherry Mays of Brightway, the Mays Agency, 304-814-2509 or visit brightwaymays.com. We're going to take a break. We're back after this from the Parmar Store Studio. It's the Dave Allen Show, brought to you by the Thornhill Auto Group on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses care for your family.
Awesome. Look no further than the new Thornhill Toyota. Introducing the 2023 Toyota Camry, Corolla, and RAV4. The ultimate companions for your journey. Whether it's the sleek Camry or the adventurous RAV4, we've got the perfect ride for you. And don't forget our unbeatable selection. We've got a ride for every style and budget. At the new Thornhill Toyota, we're not just selling cars, we're creating unforgettable adventures. So why wait? Visit us today and let's make every adventure awesome together. Click or come by at ThornhillToyotaWV.com or on the Thornhill Motor Mile, US 119 Chapmanville. See Thornhill for full details.
Thrive with 5 at the best community bank in the Kanawha Valley, Poca Valley Bank. Poca Valley Bank is now offering a certificate of deposit special, 10-month APY, annual percentage yield 5%. Take advantage of this great rate to grow your savings. For more information, stop by a Poca Valley Bank location today or call 844-782-2651. Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter. Certain terms and conditions apply. Rates based on minimum annual percentage yield. Subject to change without notice. Minimum deposit required of $10,000 of new money not currently on deposit with Poca Valley Bank to receive APY. Member FDIC.
Hello, I am Judge Stephanie Abraham, and I am running for Circuit Court here in Kanawha County.
Judge Stephanie Abraham was appointed to the Circuit Court by Governor Jim Justice. Judge Stephanie Abraham owned and managed her own law firm and was an attorney for the Department of Education and General Counsel for the State Board of Education. Judge Stephanie Abraham is a fair and balanced but tough judge who will always follow the Constitution to protect liberty and achieve justice for all.
I am Judge Stephanie Abraham. I appreciate your vote for Kanawha County Circuit Court.
Paid for by the committee to elect Judge Stephanie Abraham.
Are you seeking ways to enhance your company's IT workforce? Bridge the workforce skills gap with Bridge Valley's IT training. Elevate your business capability with custom-tailored IT training that empowers your employees with certifications, continued education, and more. The best part? Training is low to no cost to your company. Bridge Valley can also feed a steady stream of skilled graduates and apprenticeships with a 50-50 salary match while training. Visit bridgevalley.edu/apprenticeships today.
9:52, the Dave Allen Show, brought to you part by Pinnacle Consultants. You know, we spend 90% of our time indoors, and our health risk for air pollution can be greater indoors than out. Pinnacle Consultants, the only accredited commercial lab in West Virginia for asbestos and mold. Visit pinnaclecorp.net, pinnaclecorp.net, because what you don't know can hurt you. Well, if you're coming to CAMC, you can leave the coins in your pocket starting today. Parking is free. Now, if you use the parking buildings at the facilities, you'll still need to buy a ticket. But you don't have to pay for the ticket. That's just so they know, I'm presuming, when the building is full. If you are someone who works there that paid for parking in advance or got a long-term visitor's pass, as sometimes people do, you can get your money back via a form that is available on their website. Text says, Mac Warner is touting an endorsement by Mike Flynn. What a joke. Flynn is a dangerous man who believes all kinds of silly stories and lies to people. This is embarrassing, according to a texter. Well, one of my favorite eating places in Charleston is closing its doors. Story posted WCHSnetwork.com this morning. The Fresh Seafood Company is closing up shop at Capitol Market. Now, it's been there for 26 years. They plan to close by the 15th of this month. The location, however, in Jefferson is staying open. And I'll say this, to me, and yes, I know it's not Millie Snyder approved, but there was nothing like the giant fish sandwich from there. I mean, you give me that and some hot sauce, I'm good. That's all I need. Hate to see them go, but I'm glad to know that they are staying open, at least in Jefferson. That place, by the way, 6230 McCorkle Avenue. So there you go. And speaking of the Capitol Market, I got to get this in here. I'm looking forward to this. I've been asked, along with several others, to serve as a judge for Saturday's mac and cheese cook-off to benefit the Childhood Language Center. Now, it starts at 11 o'clock Saturday morning at Capitol Market. And I was looking at the list of the entrants, and myself and the other judges have our work cut out for us. I have a complete list posted at Dave Allen Radio on Facebook and the Dave Allen Show on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter. West Virginia Corner Kitchen, Breathe Wine and Culture Company, Capital Insurance, Cam Vance State Farm, Chick-fil-A, Bricks and Barrel, Lobster Trappin', The Pitch, Children's Home Society, Embassy Suites, Dutch Miller Subaru, The Regatta and Regatta Pro Wrestling and mac and cheese. I mean, what's not to love there? Restaurante Abruzzi, Shuckers, Bridge Road Bistro, just to name a few. And a complete list of all of the sponsors are available on my social media sites. Should be fun. And somehow Joe Stevens, with the folks at in Nitro, is trying to get me involved somehow. Saturday afternoon, they have an event in Nitro. And it's their Wagging Tails and Nitro Ales event. It's a beer fest and a chili cook-off. And that runs from 11 until 4 on Saturday at the Living Memorial Park in Nitro. Proceeds there will benefit hospice care and various other local animal charities. So if I can make both, and they've got me at the mac and cheese deal at the Capitol Market starting at 11 Saturday morning, and if I can somehow then get to Nitro for Wagon Whales and Nitro Ales, this beer fest and chili cook-off, my Saturday night, which I had intended on settling back and watching the Marshall-Appalachian State game, if anybody would like to get me a sponsorship to the show from Pepto-Bismol, that might be appreciated after mac and cheese during the day and chili in the late afternoon. And speaking of Joe Stevens, our good friend from the Nitro CVB, he will be on the show tomorrow to talk about that particular event. Also, looking ahead to tomorrow's show, Ryan Weld, state senator, who is a candidate for attorney general, is going to be on the show tomorrow. If you go back, and we always encourage you, if you miss any part of the show, you can go back and listen to them on your schedule on demand, WCHSnetwork.com, or sign up for the podcast version wherever you get your favorite podcasts, and that way it's delivered to you. And we also repost the shows on social media, on Facebook and on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, as well. But if you go back and you listen to Monday's show, I had Attorney General candidate, also State Senator Mike Stewart, on the show. And Mr. Stewart was, a little dismissive, if you will, toward Ryan Weld. He said basically it is a 3-person race for Attorney General. I'm sorry, he said a 2-person race for Attorney General between himself, speaking of Mike Stewart, and current state auditor J.B. McCuskey. He called it a 2-person race. Well, there is another person in it. And as someone who is closely affiliated with the Ryan Weld campaign texted and told me, he said, well, if you want to look at it like this, the race for Attorney General right now is a 2-person race, but it's between McCuskey and Ryan Weld if you base it just on the money that's been raised. So I'm not getting into all that. I'm just saying I had Stewart on the show and the folks with Ryan Weld to talk to them. They asked to come on the show on Thursday, so I'm looking forward to having Ryan Weld, state senator and candidate for Attorney General, on the show tomorrow. And I would presume that probably one day next week I'll have J.B. McCuskey on the show as well. Welcome to campaign 2024 as it is in 2023. It's still there. Hope your trick-or-treating went well last night. We had maybe about 100 or so at our place last night. Not a lot, considering the number of kids that live nearby. I guess, as Mayor Williams and I were talking about earlier, I guess it was just too cold. And I was talking when I came in the building this morning. I was talking to Steve Animal, our morning guy on the mountain, our classic rock station. And of course, Steve's a Michigan guy, so his definition of cold might be a little bit different. But remember when trick or treating a couple of years ago was postponed because of rain? I mean, you have got to be kidding me. And what message are we sending to kids when we tell them you can't go out because it's cold and because it's windy, because it's rainy? It's Halloween. There's a reason why Halloween is held in October and not in July. It's supposed to be cold, nasty, frosty. That's what it's supposed to be. And it was not windy or rainy last night. It was just a little bit cold. But anyway, old man rant over. All right, gotta go. Again, I will not be on the show on Friday. I will be here tomorrow, though. Again, Attorney General candidate and State Senator Ryan Weld is on the show tomorrow, plus Joe Stevens talking about this big chili event that they have going on in Nitro. And that is coming up on Saturday afternoon. Hoppy's coming up with the news, or with Talkline, I should say, here in just a bit. Following the news, you can follow the news of the day, WCHSnetwork.com and WVMetroNews.com. Follow me on Facebook and also on X as well. I will see you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of this first day of November. Until tomorrow, have fun and love somebody.
WCHS AM, 96.5 FM Charleston, 104.5 Cross Lanes, a WVRC media station. We're proud to live here too.